There was a storm. The power went out. And in the dark something changed. One night blurred the lines between loneliness and longing, duty and desire. I never expected to feel anything for my stepson. But that night, when the house was silent and the world outside disappeared, I collapsed into his arms. And nothing has been the same since. I'm Cassandra. I turned 43 the same year this happened. Second marriage. A quiet life. I had no idea that something so subtle, so seemingly innocent, could unravel everything I thought I understood about myself, my family, and the boundaries I believed were unbreakable. My husband, Mark, brought with him a son, Ryan, 24, from his previous marriage. Polite, distant, sometimes awkward, Ryan was never the type to cross lines. Until the night the lights went out, and so did our defenses. Mark traveled often for work, especially in the winter season. His construction business thrived during those months in the south, while I remained in our small home up north. Ryan had recently moved in with us to finish grad school. It was supposed to be temporary, a way to help him save money while adjusting to life post-college. We didn't talk much at first. He was reserved. I was busy. We shared dinners, passed each other in the hall, sometimes exchanged polite words over coffee. But nothing deep. Nothing dangerous. It started as a light drizzle. Then the wind picked up. Then came the thunder. By nightfall the power went out. Ryan and I sat by candlelight in the living room. I made tea on the gas stove and we played music from a Bluetooth speaker running low on battery. "It's kind of nice," he said, staring at the flickering flames in the fireplace. "Feels like the world paused," I replied. He looked at me then, longer than he ever had. Something passed between us. I felt it. And I didn't look away. The cold crept in quickly. The fireplace became our refuge. We shared blankets. Sat shoulder to shoulder. Talked about life, regrets, missed chances. "I used to wish my parents had stayed together," he admitted. "But now I'm kind of glad they didn't. I wouldn't have met you otherwise." It should have sounded innocent. But it didn't. I laughed at something he said, something dumb and clever. And he reached out to brush a loose strand of hair behind my ear. Neither of us said anything. His hand lingered. I didn't move. The silence between us changed. No longer polite. No longer safe. The power flickered for a moment. Then went out again completely. I shivered. "Come here," he said, opening the blanket. "You're freezing." I slid under it with him. Our bodies close. Too close. His hand rested on my waist. He looked at me. And in that moment I broke. I kissed him. Or maybe he kissed me. I can't remember who started it. Only that neither of us stopped it. We didn't say a word as we moved to the couch. Our lips still pressed together. His hands learned me like he'd been waiting his whole life. I forgot everything. Mark, the house, the rules. I only remembered the way he whispered my name. And the way I whispered his. When I woke he was gone. The power was back. So was reality. I went to the kitchen. He was there making eggs. We didn't speak of what happened. But he touched my hand when he gave me the plate. And I didn't pull away. Mark returned 3 days later. Ryan avoided me. I avoided Ryan. We pretended. But every time Mark kissed my cheek or held my hand, I felt Ryan watching. And I felt heat rise in places that shouldn't react. It happened again. A week later. Another quiet night. No storm. Just longing. He came to my room. We didn't speak. We just fell into each other. And from then on it became routine. Stolen nights. Silent days. Ryan became something I needed. Not just for sex. For connection. He listened. Touched. Looked at me like I was real. Mark hadn't looked at me like that in years. And I hated that I needed it so badly. But I did. One night Ryan brought a girl home. I heard them. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, fists clenched. He texted me an hour later. He meant nothing. I didn't reply. But I cried. We fought. Whispered fights behind closed doors. He accused me of using him. I accused him of wanting to hurt me. Then he kissed me hard. And we ended up tangled in my sheets again. Addicted. Confused. Lost. Mark found my phone one day. Not texts. Just a photo. Me in a silk robe. One I only wore when Ryan was over. "Who's this for?" he asked. I couldn't answer. He walked away. And didn't return that night. Mark hired a private investigator. He found out everything. The confrontation was violent. Words thrown like daggers. Ryan left the house with a busted lip. I left with a shattered soul. The divorce was swift. Mark got the house. I got my silence. Ryan disappeared. No calls. No messages. He vanished like a shadow. It's been 3 years. I live in a small apartment now. Alone. I haven't seen Ryan. But sometimes, I think I hear his voice in a crowd. I check my inbox hoping. But nothing. Only memories. We weren't in love. Not really. We were lonely. And when the lights went out, so did the lines we swore we'd never cross. But I don't regret it. Not all of it. Because for a moment I felt alive. Even if it came at a cost. Infidelity isn't always born of lust. Sometimes it's born of need. Of absence. Of aching spaces no one else dares to fill. And sometimes, the one who steps in isn't who you'd expect. But once the line is crossed, all you can do is choose who you want to be on the other side. If you've ever felt pulled in a direction you couldn't explain, share your truth below. Subscribe to Veiled Desires for more raw, emotionally complex stories. New stories every day. Share this with someone who understands the gray areas of desire. Healing begins with honesty. And sometimes, with a storm.